welcome back. I am so glad that you did not move your dial. We are speaking with Dana Flanagan, entrepreneur, girlfriend of mine, real estate mogul, finance expert, you name it. She is a powerhouse. So, Dana, I want to pick up on this segment and speak more directly towards your career in real estate. You have a fantastic success rate. You are licensed right now, currently in Connecticut and Florida, but you specialize a lot of your, I wouldn't say your transactions are really high net worth. So let's talk about
Mhm,
how did you get involved in more of the high net worth space? Because I know so many people want to dive in thinking it's the
mhm.
path of least resistance, right? I can list
Sure.
one monster or 10 smaller properties. So tell us a little bit about your growth and journey in the real estate space.
Sure. Well, with that being said, and yes, every realtor wants to do luxury. That is the first thing they say. I'm just going to go shoot right to luxury. Well, what they fail to think about is those people that are selling those luxury homes are those are usually relationships. Again, it all goes back to relationships. It's those relationships that those high net worth individuals have already with other real estate professionals or other professionals that may have a realtor that they're recommending. So it's not as easy to get into as you may think, and it's not as easy to get into with just advertising. And I don't want to discount the smaller sales that I've had because that was really my bread and butter of my entire business. Um, being in Connecticut for a good part of my real estate career in central Connecticut, the price point's just not that high. So I would rather at the time have sold a $350,000 house over $1 million home any day because they sold quick and it was all about volume. So I was doing over hundreds homes a year. So it feels very much like a hamster wheel. And I do, after 20 years in the business, it is tiring. I started focusing on luxury when I went down to South Florida, and that is its own challenge. Like I said, it's you can say I've done this many sales in my career and I'm this experienced. I've done all of these different things, but you'll find that a high net worth client or that clientele has relationships with other people, even though that realtor may not be as experienced. It's all about relationships, especially with the luxury clientele. That's really important factor to remember.
Tell us something that might be a differential between a regular sale and a luxury home. So, what I mean by that is, what do you need to know about maybe the property, or what do you need to know about even that seller? I feel
Mhm.
like the sellers are probably very different as well.
Oh, they are. And some things that you're gonna find out for the most part is that the sellers want you at every showing. They want you there, the person that they hired, not your teammate, not your showing assistant. They want you there for every showing. And coming from Connecticut, that is not a standard. We don't go to the showings as the listing agent. We have lock boxes. So being in the luxury space and having those requests, which to be honest, when you are a busy agent, it's very time consuming for us to run back and forth to every showing. And a lot of times there isn't that much notice. So if you are a busy agent, your schedule is already full for the next day. So it does make it a little counterproductive in regards to you want me there, but you also wanted to hire, a productive agent. So they're going to expect you at the showings for sure. And the reason why in a lot of these homes is because there's just so many details and customizations that need to be showcased. I've seen everything from, obviously hidden safes, hidden wine fridges, a dishwasher that you might not even know is a dishwasher. You tap a cabinet and there it opens. So there are things that you would know as the listing agent after spending a bunch of time with the seller and having a tour from the seller that you need to explain to potential buyers.
When you're hearing the word luxury, what do you think defines the word luxury?
Well, there's a price point in every state. So it's very different in Florida as it is in Connecticut. In Hartford County, the luxury price point is 600,000. So that doesn't sound like a lot to somebody in South Florida, or in, Los Angeles or New York even. So it varies by county and it varies by state. Um, you can have a $2 million home that is a complete tear down in, let's just say, South Florida somewhere, or you can have a $2 million home on the water. So it really depends on the demographics, the market and obviously what area the property's in, and the amenities that the home has. It doesn't necessarily mean size. It could be location, it can be waterfront, it can be slope side. Luxury condo on a ski slope can be 950,000 in Vermont, but in Breckenridge, Colorado, that's nothing. So it really just depends on the market. And I've studied the markets throughout the country and in a lot of these luxury markets. So I kind of know what's luxury for a certain price point or a certain area and what's not. So it just really depends on the area, because what's luxury in New York City is not going to be luxury in Nebraska. So
Understood. Now, you also have another niche because you find real estate for family offices.
mhm.
So explain that a little bit as well.
Yeah. So as I started to get into this luxury market a few years back well, several years back, I honestly, just looked at it as I wanted to do more with my real estate career. I didn't want to be a professional door opener for the rest of my life. And after 21 years in the business, I wanted to find kind of a niche that I could dive into that wasn't oversaturated. And so I started working with family offices, and these relationships came to me through an introduction of personal friends and, again, personal relationships. So it's all relationship driven. It definitely takes time and the right people to get into these circles. They're very private. They're very tight knit. Once you're in, you're sort of in all over, if that makes sense. So I started working with family offices and high net worth individuals as a sort of like a concierge, white glove service type of real estate agent, where if somebody had, a lot of these are all millionaires and billionaires. This is the price point that we're talking about. And they want to buy something, let's say in Vail, Colorado, or in the Caribbean somewhere, and they don't have the time, and they certainly don't want to be calling random realtors and people that are inexperienced. So I started working with these family offices as a referral source and a partner, where they could recommend me. And even though they're buying in a state that I'm not licensed in, I know somebody in that area, most likely. And if I don't, I research the heck out of it until I find the right person. And I assist with the transaction and oversee it to make sure that that client is getting the best service, that if they want to fly on a private jet out there, I will coordinate that. So I make sure that they're happy with their entire experience, not just with their home purchase.
I love that, and it sounds very sexy, when you're
Mhm.
talking about something like that. And again, I think that there's something to be said. So many people are so interested in being involved in that high net worth space and
Mhm.
having those experiences, which I love. And then just lastly, for the sake of time before we have to break, tell us a little bit about your own personal buying experiences.
Well, I've owned several different properties over my lifetime. I've had a few homes that I've rented out, primarily at ski areas. And my primary residence actually was going to buy it to flip it. It was on one of my favorite roads that I've sold many houses on. And I was newly divorced with my now fiance for not very long. And I took a little walk through the house, and it was going to be our next flip. And I walked in and I was like, I need to live here. And I called him up and I said, I think we should buy this house for us to live in. We'd only been dating 3 months. I mean, we were planning on moving in together, but I don't think we were planning on buying a house like that week. And I knew the market, and I couldn't believe what it was selling for. I'm like, it's got to be trashed inside. So I walked inside, and the only thing is the person took all the light fixtures. Big deal. And obviously I needed to paint it, and I could tell there was some burst pipes because the floor was a little warped. The hardwood floors were a little warped. So we've been on it all summer, and I remember sitting there, the clock counts down, you've been online and you don't get to talk to anybody. So you got to make sure you have all your ducks in a row, all your paperwork uploaded, your proof of funds, all of that. And you got to be a cash buyer. You cannot go in with a mortgage, and you sit there and you click on the computer while other people are clicking to the last second. It's like, you won. And and then we were so excited, and our bid did not meet the reserve. So the bank threw it back into the auction again for another month. So we bid on it again and we got it again. And that's where, that's our main property. So
I love
that
it.
was just an exciting time. But yeah, I know what I'm doing. So my experiences have actually been pretty good. And I try to make those experiences great for all my clients as well.
I love it. So we're going to pause right there for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Dana Flanagan.